Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we've got the real-world highway fuel economy test of the 2020 Lincoln Navigator. We're going to head on the highway going 50 miles out and 50 miles back, averaging 70 miles per hour to get an accurate highway fuel economy usage for this big truck. So before we get started, let's hop out and take a quick look at the vehicle. This is the creme de la creme of what Lincoln has to offer, the Navigator Black Label. This thing looks so good, and this big old wheels, big broody 3.5 liter twin turbo motor. It's been an excellent car to have around. If you want to see more on it, hit that subscribe button. Check out our other content. Links to those will be in the description. We got a sound system test of its Revel Ultima audio system, as well as a full review. So why do we do these tests? Well, the EPA Highway Fuel Economy Test, which gives this Navigator 21 miles per gallon, averages 48 miles per hour over the duration of its test. We feel there are people who take their vehicles on long road trips and want to know what they can actually expect in a real-world setting, cruising at an average steady speed. This results in wildly different averages for different vehicles. Typically, more aerodynamic, efficient vehicles do better on this test than their EPA estimates, but these large, boxy vehicles or hybrids that are better suited for lower speeds, they have higher wind resistance, etc., tend to not do so well. So it'll be interesting to see how this big, heavy, boxy Navigator is able to fare. So we're going to head up to the Shell gas station. We're going to fill up using the 3-click fueling method. We're going to use the same pump both for our initial and final fill. Then once we travel the entire duration of the test, going 73 miles per hour, we're going to come in with a final reading. Now we are using 87 octane for this test. Now before a bunch of you get upset with me, understand that if you read the owner's manual for the Navigator, it says 87 octane is perfectly acceptable for this vehicle, especially outside of high heat and heavy applications such as towing. The way we see it, if you're taking a long road trip with your Navigator, why would you pay for fuel that you're just not going to use the performance of? Yes, Fords are known to get higher horsepower figures, and they state right there in the manual that highest horsepower is achieved using 93 octane, but we're not going to be using all 450 horsepower on this test, so we're sticking with 87 octane. Tell you what, if we break 20,000 subscribers in the next year, I'll put 93 octane in every single vehicle. Okay, there we are. Good and full tank. Before we actually start up the car, we're going to reset all of our elements here, reset our trip meter, reset our average MPG, and we are good to go. Now there are multiple drive modes in the Navigator. We will be using Conserve, that is the Eco mode. We're going to drive nice and easy to the highway. Well, the goal of this test is not to hypermile, but rather to drive efficiently and comfortably the way you might on a highway trip. So when we get up onto the highway, we're going to accelerate smoothly but safely, get up to speed. We're going to try not to draft. And we're going to do 50 miles out and 50 miles back to negate any changes in elevation or, ideally, wind speed. We've reached 73 miles per hour. Interestingly, the car's speedometer is smack on with the GPS. They both say 73. So we will continue on for 100 miles and catch up with you at the end of the test. we are coming up to the end of the fuel economy test here in the Navigator, and everything has been smooth and uneventful. We've averaged 70 miles per hour according to the GPS. The GPS and the car stropometer are pretty far off at this point. We got 84 over there and 82.1 over here. We did have to cut the route a little bit short. There was an accident on the other side of the highway that if we had gone all the way to our full 54 miles out, 54 miles back, we would have been stuck in that accident, and we would not have gotten an accurate reading because we would have been in stop and go traffic for at least 10 minutes. So our total will probably come out to be about 86 miles, 85.5 miles for this test. Still pretty accurate. We were still able to achieve a 70 mile moving average speed, and the fuel economy on the car computer really kind of settled into a position. We're at 21.6 miles per gallon right now. That's probably about what we'll get by the time we get back to the pump. So we're going to head back to the gas station, fill up using the same pump and the same method, and then get that total gallons used, divide that from total miles traveled, and get a calculation. Highway comfort was good, no big surprise there with these 30-way adjustable seats. I am a little bit disappointed in the road noise in the Navigator. Just would have expected it to be a little bit more isolated, a little bit quieter, but part of that's probably the big body on frame design, and another part of that is probably these very thin tires. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video that the ambient temperature is 68 degrees right now, and we run this test with the climate control set at 73 degrees auto. We do recognize that the air conditioner will play into fuel usage, and that'll vary based on temperature, but people need to be comfortable in their vehicles, and it's kind of a necessary evil to our test. There we are, 85.5 miles. What did the car give us for a readout? 21.6. All right. That gives us a total of 3.992 gallons. 85.5 divided by 3.992 gives us, look at that, 21.4 gallons. Sure is remarkably similar to the 21.6 read out by the car. So we think it's pretty safe to say that cruising on the highway at 70 miles per hour, you can expect to get at least 21 miles per gallon here in the Lincoln Navigator. Now, this being the L Navigator, the longer one, we have a 28.3 gallon fuel tank. So if we drop down to 21 miles per gallon, 28.3 gallons, you can expect to go almost 600 miles, 594 miles on a tank here in the Navigator. So I hope you guys enjoyed this test. If you liked it, please hit that subscribe button. Check out our other Navigator content. We've got a full in-depth review on the Revel Ultima sound system, as well as a full review on the car. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.